Well, good evening, welcome to Rangers Radio. Join myself, Oxchair, on the show. It's our GB and our Port Bear. Evening, boys.
Good evening, Oxchair, and good evening, my tag team partner, Port. How are we doing?
How are we doing, mate? Good to hear you. Good to hear you, Oxchair. I am very well. Had a very good night at the weekend, and thanks for having us on, right, Oxchair. Looking forward to it.
Yeah. What, GB?
Yes, sir.
What colour do you think he was? Tropical sunset or Hawaiian sunset? Had you made up your mind?
I thought he was the bronze bomber.
The bronze bomber.
If Big Davey's the Malteser, then he's definitely the caramel.
Caramel. That's quite a good caramel. The caramel kid. How's that grab you?
Oh,
sounds lovely, mate. Sounds lovely.
Okay, how we going? Yes, a successful night for Rangers Radio, and I suppose a successful night for the club. And for ladies are in battle as we do the show, and best of luck to them. Hope it goes your way. We'll have regular updates. In fact, we'll just have maybe updates at half time, full time for people that's when we're watching it. That'd be fair, wouldn't it? What?
aye. I think that keep the troops up to date, mate. Aye, just date by, as you said, you know, as the game goes on. Half time, full time report. We'll see how they go on. Best of luck to them.
Here, and obviously some stars, past stars walked out yesterday, you know, and it was a good occasion for people to go along in the stadium that maybe couldn't always get to take kids and families. A decent day weather-wise, wasn't it? It was dry, and I hope they all enjoyed it. 7 goals for the Rangers' point of view. Defoe and Boyd, a combination that would have been up front, huh?
Can I just comment on Jermaine Defoe's first goal, mate? The touch and that wee dink over David James, mate. They say they slow down, they say they lose, pace, but that touch and that wee dink over David James, mate, that's still. I mean, that's up there for me with a Livingston finish, mate. Honestly, that's how good that touch was. To take out the defender and just that wee dink over the on rushing keeper, mate. That was a cracking finish, mate.
Big Boydies wasn't bad neither, was it?
No, his first one, he put it out of the roof of the net. But his second one, he goes straight across the keeper. And don't forget with the nets. Sure, they never move with the same side. So
it's just
don't forget with
the movement as you got older. You know? GB?
Ox, I mean, our forward line, for the kick-off was De Boer, Miller and Defoe. I mean, they three running at you in this day and age of the game, it would be, what would that be worth now? Especially De Boer and at his peak, De
Boer and Defoe be worth a few quid.
Aye, but it was great, mate. I think, like I say, legends and Rangers heroes doing what they do, mate, turning up, and the fans giving them the love and support as well. I think that was about 25,000 docs, I heard. 30,000 tickets sold. So, just an amazing turnout. And again, just turning back the years and watching Van Persie as well, Ox. That guy. As much as sports says that they've not got maybe the pace and stuff like that, but see the vision of some of the passing that they had, it would put some of our players to shame. I think even De Boer put a cross in for a corner, and it was pinpoint. You're just like, how can these guys not come in and do some coaching with our players? Because it's amazing that they've still got that world class touch, mate.
Don't think that ever goes. The touch goes when you get the ball, Port, but it's just you just lose that bit of the eye, a bit of the movement. It's just slight, but you just know they can't do it anymore. But the touch for these boys, they'll never lose it, no?
No, in the world select and the Rangers select, every time the ball went to him, like Pedro Mendes was thrown out of the park, mate, pinging 30, 40 yard passes. When he was receiving the ball, again, his first touch in his turn. He looked he looked like a Rolls Royce, mate. He just looked as if the game was just so easy for him. All right, it was played at a pace that suited them, which is fair. I mean, but although the clocks went forward an hour, mate, the Legends, in my opinion, rolled back the years and showed us what they were all about. You know, Jack Wilshere, another one for me was a standout, 31 years of age, 6 years younger than everybody else in the pitch. But he stood out, mate. He's a lot of tidy moves.
It was a good player, the boy, and obviously he's still a lot younger than some of them. So, you know, he was unlucky. I think he potentially be a top player, just never fulfilled it. If I'm being honest, obviously successful career, but maybe injury free, could have kicked on to the next level. Just never quite worked out for the boy. Port, yeah.
Aye, that's 100%, mate.
Listen. I was going to keep the half time, but we're 1-1-0. The ladies. Oh.
Get in there. Keep it coming.
Yes. Sorry about that. Couldn't contain myself. You know what I'm like, GB.
Well, I know you like to score, mate. You like to score yourself.
Aye. Hopefully to get the victory. Aye, carry on, Port.
I know, just to say, players like him, and I remember another one that stood out for me, mate, was Lewis Boamorte. You know, he was putting himself a wee bit naughty in a few challenges, and I enjoyed to see it. You know, because at some parts of the game it was like a friendly, and then it got to a stage in the game where it got a wee bit niggly, and I thought it got a bit better when it got a bit niggly. One player I was sad to see on the pitch, mate. I know he's got a lot of problems with injury stuff in his career. Was one of the guys that was doing commentary alongside Clive Tilsley. I'd love to have seen Kevin Thompson in there, but I'm sure he's like a smashing guys like Robbie Keane and stuff like that. So maybe he's better at behaving himself. But he's another one I like to see on the pitch, and maybe next year he can take to the pitch. But there was a lot of talent, mate. A lot of talent on that pitch that. You know, I thought Alan Hutton for us, mate. Alan Hutton, still got that ability to drive forward. Didn't he look tired, Ox, here? It just looks like a machine.
Just the way he done when he was at his peak.
He did, mate, he did. So I enjoyed that side, Alan Hutton, as well. A lot of them done very well, mate. So they did. That was another standout for me, Alan Hutton.
Aye. Successful day, and obviously, one of the big talking points at the Legends at the weekend was our ex-manager scoring a goal. That seemed to go down well with a lot of the Bears, eh?
It was class, and it just shows you it's only a game, a charity game, and yet there's still a meltdown about it. But well done to our ex-boss. He's probably been getting pelters for the time that he was up here. And like I says, he's just getting a bit back, and he's well entitled to it, because, like I says, he's winning probably the most important title in our history, and he stopped probably the most important title in their history. So, well done to him, and good to see that he's still got a wee bit of the love of Rangers.
I quite enjoyed it, Portman, when I seen it.
Aye, what I'll say on it, Oxdear, that man took a lot of stick. When he was our manager, a hell of a lot of stick, and sometimes you give it, you've got to take it, and when you get it, you've got to give it back. And I don't think he's over the top, mate. I think he's doing there and reminded him about the 55th title and cupped his ears. And
oh, did you think that? I thought he was just waving at him, being honest with you.
But what I was getting at, mate, what really upped me was the bottles and the objects thrown at the guy. I think that was a bit over the top. To me, it was banter, yeah. To me, it was banter. It was a charity match as well, doing it to raise money.
They could easily stop that for that mob. Easily stop that, mate. That's easily stopped, GB.
What, the throwing, you mean, Ox?
No, just give you money back in the bottle and they'll no throw them, will they?
I think somebody will be climbing the rafters to try and get his tap back, because that was some effort to a throw as well. I've seen somebody try to fling their shirt and it went about 2 feet in front of him. So, no, mate, I hope Stevie G took as much pleasure out of scoring the goal and the celebration as any, mate, because, like I says, it was good to see that that was his inkling when he done the goal, you know what I mean? And like I says, I think he's well entitled to it, because, like I says, probably season after season he was probably getting slagged that he was a failure, and like I says, he done the business when it mattered, mate.
Aye. All right. Obviously, people have different thoughts on the Legends game, but listen, it's an opportunity for people to maybe go to the first time in Ibrox with maybe a couple of kids and all that. I think there's a lot of pros in it, if I'm being honest, Portbear.
Well, what we always talk about on here is the evolution of Rangers, mate, and these are the times when you take our kids to the games, because it lets them feel the atmosphere. At the end of the day, whether we like it or not, they're the future of the club. They're the custodians of the future, like who are going to take your club, into the next level, continue to spend the blue dollar, So these are perfect games, mate, to take your kids, because you know how hard it is. They're like gold dust tickets now to get tickets. Only one that can get them Southside. It's Stevie for some reason wherever they go.
Well, I think you can get tickets for nice games at Ibrox, mate, if I'm being honest. There's only a few games that you can't get tickets. There's tickets on sale for nice games if you're early enough, but you maybe don't get to sit with the people you want, and maybe family groups to go together, because everybody, I'll go to GB first time, but everybody GB's got to go to the first game. You've already took your little girl, and that was everybody's got to go at some point to the first game. Yeah.
Aye, Ox, we're talking about evolution and all that. I mean, took the wee into the ladies' game when it was first held at Ibrox, so that's a kind of wee tick box that she'll always remember, and it was the first time, like I says, the ladies had the opportunity to play at Ibrox, so again, a good one for her to take her to, and Sod's Law, since she's a wee girl, the evolution's moved on and she wants to watch the boys play now, so that's where Daddy needs to start getting worried now, that she's wanting to watch the men play. So but Port's totally correct. These games, these Legends games, I mean, now that I've got a wee boy, I mean, trying to get free seats together for a normal match is probably a challenge, you know what I mean? So it's a good chance to get us all probably sitting together. And again, you've got probably the choice of your seat as well if you're quick enough, you know what I mean? So you can be accessible for, like I says, the half-time sweeties and all the rest of it. So I think it's a great thing. It's a chance for families to get together. And to be honest, see, when I was watching the game, it's a chance for, I don't know, a wee bit of nostalgia where you can think back to the age that you were watching these players and stuff like that. I mean, when I'm watching De Boer and Barry Ferguson in the park, I mean, it takes me back to the teenage years and stuff like that. I mean, and again, with Defoe in the park, it took me back to kind of the 55 feeling and stuff like that. So it brings back happiness, and I think that's a good thing, mate.
Aye, I get it. I get it. Obviously, it's good for the market and good for publicity. Good to see the guys with a connection to the club, What?
You still see a lot of guys here, mate, but a lot of camaraderie was still in that squad that was there, mate. There was still you could tell there was a lot of friends who have remained friends over the years. It was good to see. I know none of Moles and Newman that never, didn't play, but they were there to show support, to the team, etc. It was good to see another guy that is a hero of mine, mate. I know he's only club 18 months, Mikici Jelavic. I thought he looked in great shape as well. Thought he looked, still had that touch, still had that ability to turn quick in the box. Just, it's like Gary said, all these memories start pouring back into your brain of it. When I thought of Jelavic, I think of the Aberdeen goal, the sort of volley into that sort of that weird angle. Barry Ferguson, the captain of the club, how much a custodian he was, a driving force in midfield. all these wee things, Jermaine Defoe, that goal against Livingston, all these things just come rushing through me, and I was watching back, and I thought, God, these guys were proper custodians of your club, and I just wish sometimes, Oxshire, if any of the current squad are watching that, and the support that our fans gave to them, and I bet you the fans all the same memories as I did. It would have been such a bad thing, mate, if some of these guys were involved at the club. And I'm not saying it's coaches not Oxshire, but just doing a
What
game.
the trouble is, mate, it's difficult, mate. You've not got place for everybody. You could.
I know. I
What do
know.
you,
I don't know. There's certain ones, though, mate. There's certain times or certain games, important games. Say it's a European game, say it's a League Cup final, etc., a Scottish Cup final. These guys can come in and tell them their story, what it meant to them, etc., and try and fire the team up. Just another wee drink of the manager's boat.
I wonder who you were talking to the weekend. Anyway, aye. TB, good event. Hope everybody enjoyed it. Good to see so many players playing, and good to see the stadium with a decent crowd in it for a bounce match, really, GB.
Ox, I mean, I don't think there's many matches you could turn around and say that there's got to be 25,000 people turning up for. Let's face it, Ox, like you say, it's a bounce game. I mean, it is ex-players and stuff like that. There's probably no a great notion out there for these games, but our fans, like I say, we've got a connection with the players. I think Port's obviously touched on it, that, like I say, the current squad and that will have the same batting in the years to come. If they just kind of, like I say, if they just feed us the trophies and stuff that we crave. I mean, when you look at it, like I said, De Boer, I think even one of our other ex-players, Ateta, was talking the weekend there as well about our club, saying that he's passing on recommendations to join Rangers to any player that wants to and stuff like that. So, I mean, it just shows you that, like I says, the feelings that the players have, Ox, for Rangers and, like I says, the fans.
Well, listen, let's be honest, and I know we look through things and we blow tinted glasses, GB, and then Port can answer this. We're one of the biggest clubs in world football. We're just unfortunate we're hamstrung with a league we play.
Oh, 100%, Ox. Again, I mean, you're going on shirt sales alone and all that, and you're going on attendances week in, week out. I mean, you're talking that's a packed stadium. I mean, you think about it, if we were able to add tiers onto parts of that stadium, it would get full, Ox. There would be no debate. There'd be people would go and buy these seats if they were available. Even the clubs complained about it. Well, not so much complained, but the clubs said that there's a waiting list there and people are eager to get tickets. That just shows you. I mean, I don't know any other club out there that you could say hand in heart that they would sell out their home games week in, week out, or even their season tickets, season after season. You know what I mean? Because as much as, like I say, the day creep up, the Rangers fans find a way to keep paying that money and keep supporting the club.
Aye. Well, nobody can call us go to Hunters now, Port, eh?
No, not at all. Not at all, mate. Just to touch on it and add to what Gary said in regards to the stadium. If that stadium could hold 100,000 Oxford, in my opinion, 120,000, it would still full. It would still be full every fortnight, mate.
Are you serious about that? Do you think if we were playing Ross County? It's no fault. Let's be honest about it. When you're playing Ross County at Ibrox, there'll be a couple of thousand empty seats. There'll be people know there.
But there's a lot of fans waiting, Oxford. Like we touched on earlier on. I know how many times I've tried to take Maya and Jordan, right, my two daughters, and I cannot get tickets for love of money beside each other. They're either 3 away from each other or 3 behind each other or 3 in front of each other. You can't get side by side. And that's just a wee sort of, a wee. It's not a complaint. It's just me being nitpicky. I like to sit beside my daughters going to games because I know how much it means to them. To be with their dad and sit and support. They've got all the gear. They buy all the stuff that I buy. I buy obviously young Maya, all her stuff, all the store gear and that. And they're just dying to go with their dad. But they want to be beside their dad, and that's one of my wee nitpicky complaints. I can never seem to get Oxshire 3 together. I can't. I know other fans have got the same problem. But that'll come Oxshire. There's a lot of stuff going on at the stadium. There's a lot of stuff improving around Ibrox. Ibrox is improving. The playing squad's improving. Everything's going forward, and I'm happy, mate, about that.
I think there needs to be an economic argument, and people have a different view. If you're going to extend the stadium, it's got to make economic sense. And as a Hardian, you put 10, 20,000 on the capacity, you've got to sell these seats, and when do you break even, when do you make money? Because it's not going to cost a tenner, GB.
No, Ox, I think what would probably help it is what the product you're trying to sell to the person, isn't it? So if there's a winning product on that park that's going out and like I says, you're saying maybe like a Ross County game there, right? So if Rangers turn up and probably guaranteed a win, but if they're turning up and hammering a team 5-0, then there's entertainment there. There's a product to turn up for. Maybe the 120,000 people would fill in. It's maybe a hope. But certainly a 60 or a 70,000 seater stadium, I think we could easily fill, especially like I says, when you're going down the route of maybe like more family stands available and stuff like that. Then you never know. They would need to market it, Ox, and I think if they marketed it right and the product in the park was good, then like I says, you've probably got a chance, haven't you?
I've just had a message for you, Barry. He wants me to have a word with you two. When he takes his wife to the game, he's glad when he can't sit next to her.
I can guarantee he'll definitely not be in the family stand then.
I understand what Gary's saying, but see if the product's right on the park and you're a team that's winning regular. Why not? Why can't you?
Do you seriously think if you won 5-0 every week that the ground would be full? Think back to 9 in a row, mate. People just were. You've got to. What you need is competition. Where you're having to have decent games, and then you want the pressure's on.
Yeah, you want a strong Hearts, and as much as fans don't like me saying this, you want a strong Hearts, a strong Hibs, Dundee United, Aberdeen, and that mob across the road. You want a good product on the pitch. That does help me. I do agree. You're right.
If it was exciting, and it was the games were good, and you were winning, and you were playing decent football against decent teams.
Yeah.
But at the moment, it's only my opinion. People might see it. I think Scottish football is at an all-time low. Even the coefficients are false reading because of what we've done. I think that what we're watching against the opposition we're watching is as poor as I can ever remember.
Can I come in that, Ox?
Yeah, GB.
You make a good point, Ox. I was wondering whether is it the case of Rangers and Celtic getting stronger, and that's how we're kind of out of sight, out of mind. But I don't. It's the first kind of serious season I've seen that none of the teams have actually started to take points. I think even the games that we've kind of dropped points, Ox, we shouldn't have really dropped them. It was really down to us that we allowed that to happen. Wasn't it like a game of football where, like the last 5 minutes, there's a mad set play and they score a goal and it's a short result kind of thing? A lot of it was just down to us not trying. And if you look at, like I says, against Celtic and stuff like that, the teams are getting whitewashed, and that's where you're right. I think, like I says, I've never seen Scottish football no put up a proper fight against Old Firm, because that was one of the things they always did. They always sneaked either a draw out somewhere. But this season it's been, like I says, it's been hammering after hammering for some of the teams.
Well, in my opinion, everybody sees the game differently. I don't get me wrong, I enjoy when Rangers go to Tynecastle and run them up. I enjoy it. But you've got, once the game's done, you think, we were good, but how poor were they, Port Bear?
Aye, and they had their spell at the start of the season, didn't they? Where they, had a great start under Robin Nielsen, and you thought, right, here we go. They look as if they could maybe, I'm not going to say separate the first two, mate, but what I was going to say is they were certainly going to take points after Rangers and Celtic. That's the way it looked to me. But any time they seem to come up against us, they just seem to fall flat in their face. Same with Hibs. I thought under that young manager, I liked his style of football. I liked his philosophy. And again, just so far behind me. So, there shouldn't be gaps of points like that against your, the top six Oxford. I still don't like the split format. I would still like to see, 18 to 22 teams in the league again, mate. Because I do think there's teams, in the championship that are only far behind some of the teams that are near the bottom of the league, mate. I think there's scope for it. And I think that's, there is time for change in the league. And I think no time but the present. Let's talk about it. Let's have a look at it, because I don't know about you guys, but I get fed up sitting watching teams play against teams sometimes 3 and 4 times a year. It bores me, Oxford. It really does.
Look at the fast. Look at the fast they've got with the potential split. You can have a league without sport and integrity. It's farcical, mate. It's an idea. It's no based on the integrity of the league. It's mental, absolutely mental. But don't get me started. Right. If it's all right with you two gentlemen. Oh, by the way, just to let you know, the Bow Bridge man, that poor pensioner.
Oh, the one that's skint all the time, one that's always moaning about money.
No, never said he's skint. Canary Islands. All right for summer.
Oh, very nice. Out there getting the Port Bear tan, is he?
I don't think you need to go to the sun to get that, GB.
Is he using a Rangers Radio private jet, Oxford? Because I'll have words him when he comes back.
It was his turn.
Oh, right, okay.
Right, we get these phone lines open.
I usually go to the sun, so that's fine. We'll let him off.
The sun? I think you spent too long on it. Right, let's hear from you.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972? It's your show. It's your platform. Let's hear from you.
The Bow Bridge. I sympathise with your thinking, Port. I don't think the 4 times a season's ever worked. And obviously for marketing, they use it for the Old Firm games. And now we're changing, we're maybe sanitising that game. I don't know if going forward Sky will be that interested. They don't watch, mate. They could kill the game in the country because the people running the game are absolutely and utterly clueless. Just in my opinion.
No, I agree. There was a couple of wise men at our event at the weekend, and they had similar thoughts to along where we were. And if you remember during the big DJ's talk, he did mention that the old format when Cowden beaten up in the league and that, and he did find that more competitive because there was strong teams, strong Dundee United teams, Dundee, Aberdeen was chasing us when they had teams, when they had players like Theo Snelders and Hans Schoolhouse, Aberdeen were Alec McLeish, Willie Miller, etc. They were a strong side. And
I don't know if Schoolhouse and Snelders and that was their greatest team. You need to go back maybe 10 years before that with their Strachan and Rugvies and Miller, McLeish, and they were all Scottish boys, and they won a European trophy. And we were.
Aye, that's probably the best team. Aye, yeah.
The other team was good, mate. Right?
Yeah.
But I agree with you, mate. I think, I think they've also killed the event of us playing them, and people go there. And I think it was a couple of years ago, Port, we played Kilmarnock 7 times.
Exactly, mate. Kilmarnock on that, it's farcical. I mean, what other league? I'm going to ask you 2 years. What other league in Europe or the UK does it happen? And I'll tell you, it doesn't happen anywhere else because they do it right, they market it right. They've got footballing guys involved in, at the top level of the game, discussing these things to make sure that they're marketing their game 100%. I always use Germany as the blueprint. How they market their league to make the games cheap, the travels there, it's all involved in your ticket. That league to me is perfect. I mean, that's a perfect blueprint, for a product that's good. But we just have to get guys that's at the top of the thinking tank of the game, mate, to try and change it, because this split is killing it. 4 times playing teams, and if including cup games that you just touched on, mate, Kilmarnock 7 times. Come on, that's... You're also diluting the Old Firm game, Oxy. See, I'm really honest, you're diluting the Old Firm game, because if it were doing it with 2 Old Firm games a season...
Well, that'll be 6 times played this season. You know,
Aye.
we're moving into March, and we've played 3, and we've still got 3 games to play. Yeah, you know, so...
They're doing the greatness of that game, in my opinion. So, my opinion, I can be shot down for it if any of the colours are, you know, where they come in. But in my opinion, you're diluting that game, mate.
All right, I suppose we better give some feedback. We've not given some feedback about Saturday yet. What do you think, GB?
Aye, Ox.
Listen, can I just thank you 2 gentlemen for all the work you've done at the on Saturday. I would also like to thank my good friend Alec Black, who helped support the event. We always appreciate Alec, and what a top man and a top Ranger supporter Alec is, and everybody that turned up. Well, the total's not finalised yet, but £2,000 for each of the charities, so £2,000 to Macmillan Cancer and £2,000 to the Ranger supporters Erskine Appeal, and there's still money coming in. Yeah, so when we get a final total, Erskine will come on and give the exact money. Yeah, and what an effort. Thanks to everybody involved. Thanks to Stevie. Thanks to Big Southside. Thanks to Rangers Radio Cairn for helping us out. And thanks to the 3 stars of the evening, which were Mark Haley, Gordon Smith and Derek Johnston. I think everybody enjoyed them, and I hope everybody had a good night. GB.
It was a fantastic night, Ox. I mean, even if the start, it turned in, there was a guy sitting there telling you where your tables was and stuff like that, and it made you feel welcome. And then seeing old Davey there, great to put a face to a name, and I'm sure he appreciated his gifts that he got in the night. And then, like I says, that the company we're in, I was lucky enough to be sitting next to Billy and Port, Stevie and Southside again. Were always busy as they are in that kind of company, but always coming up and welcoming everybody there. And like I says, Ox, tap table brilliant. I mean, keeping the guests happy, the 2 guys, and the guests themselves, Ox. I mean, for me, I mean, I've not seen a lot of Derek Johnston play. I've not seen a lot of Gordon Smith play. Mark Haley, I would probably say, was probably my one that I kind of knew more of. But it was just great to hear like Derek's stories, like being a young man in Dundee and all that, and having to travel down and having to speak to folk. I think he's saying he was staying with like John Greg's brother or something like that. It was just like the stories. You'd think, like, you think of these guys just as the current football players, if you mean, but you forget that they were on. Well, I suppose in their day it was good money, but when he was turning about saying he was away on a cruise for 28 quid, I mean, you could only dream of that nowadays. And Gordon Smith, total gentleman. He actually took time out, Ox. When I went up to get a wee photograph and that, he took time out to actually just chew the fat a bit. He was just talking about normal stuff and asking how I was and stuff like that. And just brilliant, Ox. Just 3 good speakers, and I would highly recommend anybody that gets a chance to go and listen to them.
Aye. It was good. It was quite funny, and one of the funny things for me was when Big Derek had a go at Drum Chapel and Big Stevie stood up, but somebody might have been involved with that. I don't know what happened there.
I was looking about asking who stitched me up.
Aye. It was a successful night, Port Bear.
Aye, mate. Honestly, I had an absolute ball as always at these events. It's always great to catch up with Southside, yourself, GB, my wingman, my mucker, Big Stevie, I met out Davey, all there. You know, it was just discussing, the colour of Crisota was this year. He reckons a wee bit darker than I was the last time we saw me. Jaffa, I ended up meeting Skipper at the end of it as well. And I apologise, Skipper, if you're listening, mate. I didn't see you. I don't know how you're sitting right there before.
Sitting right behind you. He was sitting right behind you.
And it was great to catch up with yourself, mate. But I met Blue Star. Blue Star was my table as well, so I met him face to face. So that's another name to my face as well. I can only the speakers were excellent, mate. The stories for Gordon Smith were absolutely fantastic. Big DJ stories. I enjoyed the fact that, as a 16-year-old boy, the story about Jock Stein going to his door, etc. And he was also asked to go to was it Arsenal and Chelsea and all that as well, and as a young boy. And when the Gers came calling, mate, he didn't have any second thoughts, did he? He wanted to wear that blue shirt. And it was great to hear that because, apart from the last 16-year-old I can remember who broke through and made it the way he did was probably Michael Owen and Wayne Rooney. It doesn't happen very often next year. And I asked him a question, which is a very rare thing that happens in football now. How could you do it? How could you go from striker to centre half and be as good? And his answer was excellent to me next year, and it'll live me forever. And this is the way I want to hear. I want to pass this on to all youngsters in the game, mate.
Listen, I just want to tell you something. I've got to work tomorrow.
Sorry.
All right, GB?
Mate,
Yeah.
I'm still here, mate. Still here.
I thought you might have been sleeping there.
No, but what he was getting at, mate, was, the reason that happened was because he was willing to play anywhere as long as he had that blue jersey on next year.
And you're young, mate. You had to get in the team to get more money. You had to win to get more money. They're getting their money easy now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Good night. Special shout out to all the people that supported us. It wasn't there. Shuggy and Andy for Leeds, Alex Kelly. The ladies who donated, I'll get their names, Christina and remind me, Port.
Mary Ma, Christine Bartley.
Right, thanks very much, Alex Kelly, as I said, Shuggy, all the people who supported us, and a big shout out to Billy. Billy donated a prize, and it went for a lot of money, and helped us raise money on the night. And fair play to Billy, his imagination, and getting that for people that are into fishing. I know you like a bit of fishing, Port Bear. But it was a fantastic prize, if that's your thing, the salmon fishing and that, yeah.
Aye, that's. I tell you, if anybody, understands fishing the way I do and the way Billy does, that's a once in a lifetime opportunity to get that. It costs a lot of money to get to that level of fishing, and I can only take my hat off to Billy for pulling that off. That was excellent. Well done, Billy. Superb, mate.
Yeah. Aye. GB.
Aye, Ox. I mean, the prizes that were up for grabs, even that shirt that you could buy a ticket for to try and win the tap as well, the European Champions tap. So
Europa League final tap, mate. Europa League final.
Aye. Couldn't get the words out there, Ox. I was stumbling, mate. Sorry. Again, prizes like that, and it was good. The raffles, the amount of raffles that was donated, Ox, was fantastic. It gave everybody a good opportunity to win something.
It was fantastic for me, mate. I never won a thing. Again, 2 days in a row. Never, not a thing.
You're no mixing your tickets, right? You need to get 2 for the back, 2 for the front, and 2 for the middle, mate.
And how did that work for you at the weekend? What did you win?
Nothing.
Aye, big DJ, what tickets for you, Oxshire?
I think he did, mate. I think he took my tickets. Anyway, we've been joined by Shuggy. And yes, and if people want to donate, still donate. just rangersradio@gmail.com and find it and with the PayPal, and we'll take a donation. Yeah, fantastic if you still want to donate to get the fund up, and we'll get that money transferred across to the two charities. We've been joined by Shuggy. Evening, Shuggy.
Good evening, boys. How is everybody?
Good, mate. Good. How's yourself?
Right. I've been really studying this last 3 or 4 days, thinking about what is supposedly said or what is not said or what is he given us sound bites, right? Well, these 5 players, right? Well, I reckon if Rangers can manage to scramble 15 million, give him 15 million pounds to spend, if we can manage to go to that, I think he might have a reasonable chance of stopping them next season.
What's the 5 positions for you, Shuggy? Obviously,
goalkeeper, right back, centre half, and 1 midfielder and 1 striker.
Oh, Fox has just fell off his seat. Definitely agree with you on the goalkeeper. We're definitely going to need another centre half in because we've only got 3. GB.
And I can give you the names of the players that I would like.
Go on then, Shuggy. Go on then.
The keeper would be the boy for West Brom. What was his name? He played for England. England under 21, I think he was. The experience he has, I can't remember his name now.
Get it.
The full back would be a young boy that plays for Millwall. Very good, very strong. The centre half would be Cooper. My midfields would probably be somebody in the Championship. I'm looking at a couple from the Championship, and my striker would be Madja from Sunderland. Or he did play for Sunderland, I think.
Mm-hmm. Well, interesting, mate. You put a bit of thought in it. I put
a lot of thought into the tactical side because I think that's where we've got to beat them. I think also if you look at the game, the ladies' game, it was exactly the same thing. We dominate the possession. We play the good football. But then they seem to look at us for 20 minutes, watch us, and then they just seem to overrun us with pace. So we obviously must get at least 2 players out of the 5 with pace, because if we don't, we're going to struggle.
Well, we definitely need more pace in the team. I think that's a given. The positions, I definitely need a goalie. Port. I definitely agree with Shuggy about centre half. Because we've only got 3, and I don't think you'll go through a season with 3. The right back is up for debate. I understand where he's coming from because Tavernier's not a young man. I agree. We also need a midfielder, and with Ruth and Morelos, Ruth, with his injury record, and Morelos leaving, we're going to need a striker. Port then GB.
I still think priority has to be a goalkeeper next year. I think if we get a number 1 in, we can let McLaughlin and McGregor maybe have a sort of coaching capacity. That'd be my first priority, goalkeeper. I still think we need to nail down that right-hand side, mate. I think that's where I'd be looking for, a right-hand sided midfielder. And next year, if Morelos goes, which I think he might, and Kent, which I think he might, that's another 2 positions. We're going to be really, really short in, but we'll have wages to cover them. So I'm along the same line as you. I'm thinking a centre half, and I think we need an engine room with legs next year. We need an engine room where guys follow runners. I'm sick and tired watching, especially when we play against them, that sort of inside left channel between Tav and Goldson. They know that's a weak link in there, and they even know at the back post how many times have they caught Borna on his heels at the back post and ghosted in for goals. So I'm hoping Ridvan does come good and gets a chance. but maybe even Borna, mate, might be playing his last season at Ibrox, because as well as I think he's had a decent season this year, I still think we need. I'd like a solid back four, mate. A solid
This is
back
the
four.
call you've got to make as a manager, mate, whether you think you've had the best out of people and it's time to move on. Yeah, GB?
All right, Ox. I mean, the manager's been cute with it, and he said he's passed on 5 players. So now every Rangers fan in the summer's expecting 5 players to come in. I don't know if that's got to be 5 plus Tillman. I mean, I would imagine Tillman's a kind of separate transfer, Ox. I don't know if that will increase as well. If the likes say Alfredo and Kent don't sign new contracts, then does that open the manager up to getting another 2 in there? So you could be talking 7 or 8. I mean, again, depending on what contracts are offered. To like say Jack, rumour mill with Arfield as well, possibly getting offered a year. We know that probably McGregor's not coming back. There's been no information on Stephen Davis, but I would surmise that his days are finished. But again, the manager spoke about Stephen Davis has still got the legs and all that today, so we don't know the situation with that. But if we're going for just this solid 5, then I would say you're looking at 2 attackers, a goalkeeper, a midfielder, and a defender.
Shuggy, I mean, I'm assuming my thinking that potentially Jack, Davis, Arfield are not getting contracts along with McGregor, yeah?
Well, personally myself, if Jack stays fit, I would give Jack a contract. But we've got to look at that. The midfield is the area where you expect most of the teams to get beat to them. So we've got to look at that midfield, and we've got to make sure that we've got 2 quality midfielders in there to win the ball. And then we can go forward from there. You know, they've got to start from the back. And I mean, I keep saying it, and I'm sick to saying it. We must go out and get that Cooper, because I just don't see the point in paying 5 or 6 million for Tillman if you're not going to get somebody like Cooper to stop it. You know, you've got to start. Graham Souness's old attitude was start for the back and you'll go forward. If it's not going to do that, it's going to go nowhere.
I think you're right, mate. In the big games, you need a solid foundation again. I mean, most of the teams we play Port, defence isn't a problem. Most of the teams over a season. But in the big games, you need that foundation.
Well, that's what I believe. You know, it's like anything in your life, isn't it? You know, if you're building a house and there's no foundation underneath, it's going to crumble, isn't it? So, you know, that's where Rangers have got to look at it. And I'm sure he's shrewd enough. He's been there.
You can get the foundation right and be like your brother Andy. They call him the bungalow because he's nothing up top, Chug.
Well, you can't help it if there's no glass in the windows, can you? You know what I mean?
Carry on, Port. Well done, Chug.
I just think, mate, you know, I'm just going to echo what Shug says. I always remember Walter Smith when he first came back the second time round, when he brought Davy Weir and that in. He said that he made sure that we became hard to beat again. And that's one thing that I want us to go back to. I'd like to see, it's great to see James Tavernier and Borna Barisic bombing forward, getting assists and goals, mate. But I'd like to see our full-backs defend and make that back unit a solid back unit. And
Why
I'd
do
like
we
to see guys.
Why do we need to do that when we're starting to blow teams away domestically? We're beating Hibs easy. It's the other games. We need more than one striker, but we need to be tactical astute. Poor, yeah.
Aye, that's what I'm getting to. So if you have various formations, like see if 2 formations you can go to and you can change it up, then you can go, you know, when we're attacking fullbacks. But in the more difficult games, obviously, we need guys that can defend it in my fullback positions. Unless you get midfielders that are going to cover when these guys are going forward. It's all about systems for me, mate. It really is. It's all about systems for me and how you get these guys. You know, where your width comes from. Is it going to come for your wingers, or is it going to come for Tav and Borna, or whoever it may be the fullbacks are? But can I ask all you a question? and it's regarding Tillman. Do we need to go out and splash the cash on Tillman when we've got Cantwell and potentially Hadji coming back?
No,
Is that
what's the space we had, you mate? I think you never know what
Aye.
can happen in football. You
I
know,
see the rumours.
let's assume Haji Stein. I mean, he's going to get back to full fitness, mate, in my opinion, and then we can judge the boy because it was a horrendous injury. Tillman and Cantwell, I think they would play in different positions, but I get your point. But you need a squad. You're not going to get through the season with everybody being fit, Shug.
No, but I mean, at the end of the day, if you have a basis to work off, then you say, right, well, your second string players, you put them around it, don't you? It's like anything, isn't it? You've got to have a plan A and a plan B, because if you've not got a plan A or a plan B, well, if you've not got a plan B, as we've seen with Warburton, it just falls in, doesn't it? You know what I mean? It's so. You've always got to have another option, and you've got to look at the big circle. You could say, well, part of my perimeter of the team is, say, 6 or 7 players, and then your other 4 players, you're hoping they're going to come in and be strong enough to come together as like a piece of jigsaw. That's the way we used to work it when we used to play football. We used to say, right, you've got 6 players there that are going to be in your first team, and then your other 5 or 6 or your subs or anything. They're your other people that'll help you out.
Then Andy, he came along to cut up the oranges, mate, yeah?
Well, I could have fallen over his own feet, so it wouldn't matter.
Aye, listen, but it's great, and you plan things. This has been a football manager, must be a nightmare, GB. You plan all this thing, so you're going to start the season, you're going to go with Ben Davis, you're going to have Tom Lawrence playing, you're saying that you're going to have Cholak up front, and all of a sudden, John Suter pushing the centre backs as well to help you out, covering it right back, covering centre half. You've got a guy there that can do a job for you. Bang, all injured.
There's no way predicting that, Ox, isn't it? And all that done for us this season is add pressure to the manager, unfortunately. But I think where Beale's been really smart with the January transfer window, Ox, is he's went out, he's got boys at the right age, he's got boys that can walk into the team, and like I says, I do hope that as much as we're saying we need probably players to challenge Tav and stuff like that, they've got to come in and challenge Tav. Nae him at the boy divine. He's performed every time he's took on the shirt and took on the position and stuff like that. But if we're going to get players in, they've got to challenge the players that's there, or else it'll just be the same old easy picks. You know what I mean? So, like I say, if we're going to get guys to challenge Tav, this guy's going to have to come in and challenge the captain of Rangers and take the shirt off him. You know what I mean? It's got to be the right age, right player, and a guy that's hungry to play every week.
Aye. Listen, he did mention we don't need fillers. I think the 5 players will know by the end of the signings, but I think what he means is he needs 5 first-team players, Shuggy.
Yeah, well, like I say, I mean, I think, to be honest with you, if we could afford it, or look at the bigger picture, because at the end of the day, we've got to stop them. And I don't care how we. I mean, I'm not an advocate for kicking them off the park, but at the end of the day, it's us against them. So it's a fight, isn't it? It's a battle. So if we have to kick them off the park, we'll kick them off the park. I don't care. It's got to a stage now with me that we have to beat them at all costs. If we have to pull their hair and play naughty, well, do it, because they would do the same to yours. But the thing we've got to stop is we've got to stop them from being able to run and run and run and run. So we've got to say, well, right, okay then. Well, we're going to match you then. We're going to be as fit as you then. And then it's just who comes out on top, isn't it?
Anyway, we've been joined by old Davey. Evening, Davey.
Evening, boys. How are we?
Good, mate.
Yourself? How you doing, Port, Ox, GB and Shuggy? Aye, I'm doing great, mate. I'm doing great. Just like to thank you again for what you done for me on Saturday night. That's the best night I've had since my first wife. I divorced her, so it was extra special. No, it was absolutely. I'm blown away. He's blew me away. And Big Stevie, man, what a man. What a man. They were all good. Jaffa was sitting in front of me. And the night, and I think it was Port was saying as well, with GB, that the speakers were exceptional. I could relate a lot to Derek Johnson because he's only 4 years younger than me. He doesn't look like 70, but that's what he is. He was born in 53. And they presented. I thought something. I've been to something similar things, but they really, the way they put it together and the way he's all put it together, it was outstanding. I don't want to go on and on about it, but it was. I was blown away, and your kindness was unbelievable. And I'd love to from my family's point of view, I'd love to thank you very much.
No, you're more than welcome, mate. And listen, I'm no one for telling stories, but I'm hearing one that I've not told you, being there was somebody got up in the middle of the night, couldn't sleep, decided to open a Macklemore teasers and lost one. I don't want to tell you where it ended up.
You're that bad, you're that bad. There's one thing I hate, that's a shopper.
I'm not mentioning any names or anything, GB.
That was a true story, guys. I'm telling you. I woke up and one of the Maltesers was stuck in my pajamas. I just had to whip it off and threw it in the washing bin so she wouldn't see it.
Do you want to tell what everybody done as they turned up, David? Do you want to tell people? What did they give you, everybody?
Sorry?
What did everybody give you as they turned up?
They were, it was they gave me boxes of Maltesers, Easter eggs with Maltesers. I had Maltesers with Viagra in them. I was jumping about daft all day Sunday, but I'd say there's something wrong with them Maltesers. And then I said, better test them out. And that's what they were. They were inside the Maltesers was full of Viagra. And she's looking at me going, you're not on.
Right, get yourself on mute, gentlemen, because we're going to have a tune.
Hey, boss.
On Flesher's Haw down by the Clyde, 4 teenage lads did propose to form their own wee football team. The idea there arose. Way back then, how could they know that millions they would love? The greatest in all history, the Rangers Football Club. The Rangers Football Club. The Rangers Football Club. The greatest in all history, the Rangers Football Club. A debt we owe, we cannot pay. Those gallant pioneers, a legacy they did bestow. We shared down through the years. To Moses and those fine young lads, our gratitude we'll show. We'll sing our song with heart and voice, and let the whole world know. The Rangers Football Club. The Rangers Football Club. The greatest in all history, the Rangers Football Club. Come join as one, and toast to all who share our history. Toast William Struth, a noble man, I'm sure you will agree. Lest we forget our absent friends, they watch from up above. In life and death will always be with Rangers Football Club. The Rangers Football Club. The Rangers Football Club. The greatest in all history. The Rangers Football Club. The Rangers Football Club. The Rangers Football Club.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Here. Well back, gentlemen.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Big shout out
Yep.
to James through Tennessee. It was a dear taxi him. Big Stevie gave him a score for it right enough. I hope he checked that score when he got. Aye, glad you enjoyed it, David. It was great to meet you.
I had 21 reservation. I was, I kept calling Tennessee Denver. I said, hello, Denver. He said, no, I'm Tennessee. I thought you were Denver.
It's not that you're not. It's
So
not
much
that
a difference by a couple of 1,000 miles, you know.
It's just your geography. It's crap, Dave.
Okay, big time, aye. But see, regarding what we were starting to talk about there, I definitely with Shuggy there on what he's talking about, changes-wise, because there's a lot of people not come on, well, everybody's, as I said, we've all got our own opinions, but he was spot on with his positions. And sometimes if you mention a right back and a centre half, everybody goes, oh, but we do need to get that changed. That position there has been for there too long, and we've got to change it for the better, I think.
Aye, well, obviously they've been into this season. They've both got 3 years left in their contracts, you know, and the South Side keeps saying he doesn't think the two of them will see their contracts out, eyebrows. But the problem you've got, Shuggy, when people get contracts, they can just sit there.
Well, to be honest with you, if you know, I personally myself, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but I just want rid of Tavernier because I just think his goal ratio you can't fault, but for his defending, he must have lost as many goals as he scored. So I mean, what good's that to us? You know what I mean? You want a defender that can defend, so right. If the ball's in my half, it's going up the park, not in the back of the net.
A good point, mate. A good point. I know he causes debate amongst the support. Talking about supporters, we've been joined by Skipper. Evening, Skipper.
Good evening, gentlemen. How are we all?
Hey, Skipper.
How are we doing, Skipper?
Well, I'm very well. I just wanted to phone up to thank everybody for each and every one who was who contributed to Saturday night. It was a fantastic night. It was terrific. But in particular, I would like to thank whoever sorted out the tables, because the table I was seated at was nearer the kitchen than Big Stevie, so we all managed to get fed okay.
Oh, dear.
The company my table couldn't have been any better. A lovely lady May, and then three great bears, Gregor, Hutchie and Jerry, and the tales they were telling me about their adventures in Europe with Foley and Rangers. Nothing that I could repeat on air.
No. Obviously I know the lads personally, mate, and I know the lady personally as well. Yeah.
Yes.
They enjoyed your company as well, Skipper.
Oh, and they know you.
I think they do, mate. I think they do. I could tell you some stories as well, but listen, What did you make of the speakers? I think at the end up, Haley was good, DJ was great, and Gordon Smith was hilarious at the end.
I thoroughly enjoyed the night, and I thought it was great. I had no complaint about anything. And to top the night off for me was Big Derek Johnson signed a photo of me and him that was taken together a couple of years ago at the Ibrox Trophy Room. So I went down the road one happy bear.
Here. Port Bear.
Aye, superb. Didn't get to see to near the end, Skipper, because I had my glasses on, mate. I apologise for that profusely.
I told you I could see you.
All the GB, all the people that were sitting behind Port had sunglasses on.
Aye.
I was the one behind the shield.
Aye. No, it was great to catch up, mate. Nice to see you, and I'm glad you enjoyed your night, mate, and glad Big DJ made your night sign that before I was talking to you. You showed me that picture, that was a cracker, and it was great to get it signed, mate, but it was great to see you and catch up again, mate.
But I wasn't going to show you the other photos you wanted to see.
Oh, no, I'll see them in another time. It's a family show, remember?
Which reminds me, I mean, the food was superb on Saturday night, but the next time they're having a do that, I know where I can get you a good deal on Thai food.
I bet you do, I know, Skipper. I bet you do. Big Stevie wants to know if you're still taking his band to Belfast on your boat.
Yes, he was shouting across to me, right across the hall. I said, the Parahandy's in for a refit now, but it'll be out shortly. A vital spark.
Oh, brilliant.
It's in the dry dock.
No, the pubs. Listen, it was good that you enjoyed it, mate. The speakers were all fantastic. The company was great. Everything went well for us, and obviously we made a good amount of money for two good birthday charities, Skipper.
Yes, that was the main thing. And I'd say it was a fantastic. There was not a thing I could have said, apart from a bit of rain going in and a bit of rain coming out. There was nothing I could complain about on Saturday night.
Well, I know we're good, GB, but we can't control the weather, mate.
No, not in our country anyway, Ox. It is a bit of a nightmare. But to be fair, it was, and I had a wee cul-de-sac, so you got there as best you could. But just to go back to obviously the photo turned up, Ox, to support it. I mean, like I say, Blue Star was there. Great effort made with him. Again, good company. Jaffa. Albert and that. I mean, it was just good to put names to faces and stuff like that. And I think like the whole night it was good because it was flowing. Ox, I think like it says, you sat down. Gordon Smith made it clear how the night was going to work. You got your dinner, and like I says, each speaker got their own moment to tell their stories. And like I says, I think it was much appreciated with everybody there, mate.
Yeah. And it was great to see you, Skipper. Great to see you, mate.
Well, that must be the first time you've seen me without handcuffs.
I was trying to think it was the last time I saw you in that club. It's been a while.
It is, yes.
It's been a while. But we missed
Well, listen, I can't hang about, so I just wanted to thank you all for the night, and in particular the company I was in on Saturday night. It was a terrific night.
Yeah. Well, good to hear from you. Good to see you, and glad you enjoyed your evening, Skipper.
Right, so carry on the good work, gentlemen, and I'll catch up with you as soon as I can.
Yeah. Cheers, bro.
Right, all the best. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Top man, Port Bear. He's a top man, isn't he?
Oh, absolute gentleman. First time I met him, mate, up at Ibrox, absolute gent. And any time I was at Ibrox after that, I met him a few times over in the Loudon and that. Absolute gentleman, mate. A one-half, a true blue, and a fantastic man. Can't speak highly about him, mate. Definitely.
Yeah. Right. Well, we are going to have to refresh our team. There's no doubt in that, Davey. We're going to. Listen, even if you were winning, you've got to keep refreshing, David. People will say that's the mistake we made, yeah?
Oh, that is a mistake. We all know that now, but I mean, that boat sailed now, so there's nothing we can do about that one. We've just got to make sure that doesn't happen again, and I don't think he'll do that, because obviously the position he's in now, he's getting himself bedded in, and he must see what we all see. But whether this is a big, whether he's going to change what's needed changed, that's the problem. We cannot go in, even this cup final, can I say, we could change it for the semi-final, sorry. We could change it for that, that's maybe a bit too late. But we need to get that defence sorted out to go forward. That's going to be a priority.
I get it. But if we score more goals, GB, do we worry about the defence?
We don't, Oxford. I don't think our manager's too concerned about conceding either. I think it was our last game he touched on it. That he says as long as we're scoring more, then you have to kind of, the way we play, we have to allow that there might be the odd time that will concede, and so that's obviously clearly in the manager's head. You're talking about goals, Ox. I mean, there's the legends at the weekend. They named Barry Ferguson and De Boer, and I think Mikel Arteta, and that treble winning side, right? And that treble winning side, all three of the players had about 15 goals between them. You'll probably correct me, obviously, or Port will correct me with the Stato stuff, but I'm sure that each of them all had about 15 goals each in that treble winning season, right? So that's what we need in the team. We need to have guys like, say, our attackers. So you're talking Sakala, Kent, and our striker have all got to get at minimum 10 plus goals, and the midfield have got to chip in with some goals as well. Because if you've got all that nucleus constantly scoring, Ox, then if you're talking sakes, one of the strikers has an half day, then you're always going to have a guy scoring for you. You're always going to have a high scoring game, and I think that's the way forward. We've got to get all the teams scoring.
I think we need a 25-goal striker, Shuggy, if I'm honest. Yeah.
Definitely, mate. Yeah, I would say 25-goal striker, 2 15-goal midfielders, and then, at least 6 goals from every other player if we can, and then we've got enough goals. But like I say, my concern for this is that I think our management team and our board seem to think that Championship level's good enough to beat them, and I don't think it is. It pains me to say that, but I don't think it is. I think we've got to look higher. I know we've not got the money, and I accept we've not got the money, but surely, Championship level is good to an extent, but it's not brilliant. I mean, I know Scottish football's very poor at the minute, but end of the day, we've only got one brick to knock over, so come on, why can't they have the passion that we've got? That's what pains me, I'd walk over hot coals to play for Rangers, man, you know what I mean? And I can't understand that. I can't get my head around it at all.
GB.
Ox, I was going to actually bring up that point. I mean, the market that we are going to be shopping in, I mean, are we happy with that? Have we got to be realistic that we're going to be shopping in potential markets? We're not going to be going down to the Premier League and raiding guys 8 and 10 million and all that. I mean, I think we're looking at out of contract, the same remit as what Cantwell and Raskin. I think, don't get me wrong, if we get players like that, and then we're on to a winner. But as we've seen what you touched on, Knox, at the start of the show, like say Tom Lawrence came in and all the rest of it. I mean, there's a risk there that some of them might not hit the ground running, and there's a risk there that some of them might end up having an injury or something like that. So it's the manager's he's identified these players, and I imagine he's identified these players as his top targets. Whether we'll know that come the summer, whether he gets his right 5 in is another thing, considering the market that we're shopping in.
You'll never know that. I think you've got to be careful. I think if you go shopping at Harrods, it's all right for old Davy. He can afford it, you know. You know what I mean? But you've got to be realistic of where you are and what you've got to do. We've got to get a team to win every game against a certain team and then compete against them. And I think our form has not been great, but the last two games, we know we didn't play in that cup final. But there was still a 20-minute period there for that equaliser. We should have got a second goal and put them under pressure. They never done it. Scoring goals for me has been my problem. Davey?
Oh, 100%, Ox. You're 100% right. Well, we are not as far behind as what everybody. It's dead easy to be an armchair or a fan sitting in the park saying you should do this and do that. To get it right, it's very, very difficult. Then I think if we get the right ones, as what, I don't know if it was Porter was saying there, but we can only get what we can get. And if we can get the right ones, I see us being right in their face. And I think that will all happen. And the pace and all that is just, it depends on how Bale wants to play the game. Now, he may not want to play that type of game that they play, with press. But I think I'm very encouraged by what he's trying to do to move anyway.
Chuggy, I'll take your point. I'll take it to Port Bear. I get your point. I want as good a quality as we can get. But it's not just bringing the player in, mate. It's the wages. Chuggy first, then Port Bear.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. But I think also there's a way to play against them as well. Because when we used to play football, right, we used to say if teams were better at us than playing football, but or they had a bit more, a bit more pace about them. Play the ball long into the corner and squeeze it so that they're in the corner. So then they have to pull it out from the front or the corner. So at least then you're up in their half, and then you've got a chance of scoring goals anyway. It's very, very rare, even though we've got pace supposedly with Sakala, we don't really use Sakala, right? Because if you knock the ball long to Sakala, right, one of their centre halves comes out of the middle, so it leaves a gap for your midfielder who hopefully will be Lawrence or somebody like that next season to run straight through that middle of that gap. Bang, you're in the back. You're in one-on-one with the goalkeeper. Then it's anybody's chance. Surely, I'm not a tactician. I'm not that good. You know what I mean? I'm just a normal person. So surely, somebody who's far more educated on football could see these things. Well, why can't they do them?
It's an easy game watching. Port Bear.
Aye, if you remember right in the last game last year, I'd mentioned I didn't think we turned Celtic enough. I don't think the back line's particularly quick, and sometimes you have to mix it up. And I mentioned sometimes about winning ugly. It's not about pressing and playing all the intricate passing and 24 passes and trying to look the ball in the net. Sometimes you have to just get the ball like Goldson did and Davis does regularly now and get that ball diagonal and get that defence turning and using the pace of Kent and Sakala, like Shuggy saying, to get in behind them. That seemed to work the second time we played them in that 20 minute spell you touched on when Morelos gets that goal. We had them riled at that point, and that was definitely working when we started them getting them turning. But to add to that, I think we've spoken this before, it's about getting the blend right in the middle of the park. And I think what we've seen for Askin so far in Cantwell with the movement and their understanding of the game at such a young age. I'm excited to see a full pre-season next year under Michael Beale, because I think this team only quite at the same fitness levels as Steven Gerrard had them. I think that's been a big problem the whole season. So I can't wait until this team, whoever's going to stay, I know we've got 8-year contract next year, and I don't know who's going to stay and who's going to go. I still haven't made my mind up yet. But we've got 8 potential players that are going to go. He's talking about 5 coming in. So if 8's going to go, the sums don't add up. So I think there might be more than 5 coming in.
I think they do, mate. I think your squad's far too heavy, be too big a wage ball. Yeah.
Yeah, that is it. We need to bring that down, of course. Aye, of course. But we still have to bring in quality next year to compete and take us to the next level.
I agree. We need oven ready Porter.
Yes. Yeah, 100%, mate. 100%.
Davey? Then GB.
Yeah, I mean, the advantage that Mankey Mob's got there is it bedded in quicker with what they brought in. And we went through managers and players, and now we're starting to try bed in again. And we've got to keep going back to injuries. Injuries have been horrendous. So there was no way in this planet that we were going to put out a steady team. And that's disrupted us. They've been sitting, getting compacted and compacted. That'll come, I think, with us. And you had it on the nail, but it comes down to wages as well with all this kind of talk, you know, and that's a big factor in where we're going, I'm afraid.
What that was mentioned by a few of the guys is in Saturday night when they were speaking was character, GB, you know, with different players at different, you know, you've got to look somebody between the eyes, they've got to be able to do it for you.
Mm-hmm. Ox, I mean, Shuggy's touched on that championship. I mean, you need to watch down there because the championship, sometimes these teams, the players down there, like you're saying about character, they accept having a defeat and a draw. A lot of the teams down there, you know what I mean? And we're going in there and shot them in that kind of market. I mean, we're really wanting, like, the manager has said that he'll go and meet the players, he'll go and sit down and see if they have got the right character, which is good, you know what I mean? But certainly our scouting system has got to be on the money because we can't have guys that think that having a couple of losses during the season is acceptable. When he comes up here, it's got to be, the full focus on is must beat everybody else, and then when it comes to all firms, then we've got to at least, I would say minimum, we've got to win our 2 home games at Ibrox, and minimum we've got to have 2 draws away at their place. I mean, to make sure that we're in the driving seat for a title.
If you've done that, you win the league. Shuggy.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think the thing is, like I say now, you know, we've said it on numerous occasions. I don't think it's a case of maybe some of them championship players are no good enough. It's playing for the shirt and the magnitude, and you know, to be honest with you, I think when some of them players that have played in the championship look around our club and they see the great walls and the trophies and the history and the, you know, and the colours and what it actually means to play for the, you know, the Queen or the King, as you call them. They're overawed with it. I really do believe they're overawed with it. You know, I just think we're far too big a club for a lot of them players.
You've got a big,
you know, even we've had even quality internationals that have said,
Aye.
"Well, wow, this is second to none."
Yeah, you need the cojones, Port Bear.
That's one of the most important things, mate. It's a character. It's a heavy shirt to wear. You know, we always talk about this on this show. You know, you need to have character, desire, ability, and that's just for starters. But one thing that we look for right away is desire. We want you to give 110% on that pitch. We don't care if you've not played to your the best of your ability. But what we do care about is you're out and you've bled, tears, snot, the whole lot. You've left everything at the pitch, and we'll never question you, but Alex, yeah, we'll never question you as long as you give everything you've got before you come off that pitch. But what you add to that is your quality, and that's where I think Raskin, Tillman, Cantwell, Hadji, all these guys will add the flair and bring the goals. And obviously, if Morelos does go or Kent does go, Colak stays. Obviously, Roof's injuries. Hopefully, he can do this via operation, mate, and hopefully he finally gets a chance where he gets a season at Rangers where he can show us what he's made of. We know maybe half his ability, but we've not seen a fully fit Kamar Roof, really banging the goals in. We've seen, in my opinion, somebody that's maybe 60% and still got 18 in the season. So I think there's a few positions needing filled, mate. But all I ever ask for is to give 110%, and they play in that blue jersey, they get them fans on the edge of their seat, they get the stadium lifted, and it's amazing how much them fans lift their players, mate.
Mm-hmm. I think if you're being honest about it, you can look at somebody in the eye, you can look at his fitness, you look at his form, There's a lot involved, Davey. It's like any work. When people come in the door, they've got to go in with their workmates, stroke teammates. Maybe no need to be buddies, but they've got to be able to work together.
Oh, you're spot on. You're dead on the button there, by the way. But as what Port was saying about character, I just watched Steve Ferguson there on Sunday. Okay? Now, he was playing in a game, what's a kickabout, and he was getting really right into it. We've got players there that play in the league game, can't get that. And he's shouting at people, well, come here, we don't have, that's a big bit of that jigsaw that's missing. That's not just character, that's what we call heart and hand. That's what we need, that desire back. And Fergie just showed you in that type of game. And we don't have that. That's just my opinion. I don't think we've got that type of player at Ibrox in it.
I think Goldson was leader, Shuggy, ain't he? If we're being honest, he's that guy.
Well,
more so than Tav, different kinds of people.
To be honest with you, Knox, and it pains me to say it again, you know, and I'm like a broken record here, but Golston and Tavernier are no leaders. You know, if you look at our leaders from the past, John Gregg, Richard Goff, you know, John Brown. Oh, I mean, come on, there's not a comparison, Knox. Come on, you know. I mean, at the end of the day, right? If I could play for that team for 5 minutes, I would give blood, sweat, and tears. And if I come off there and I had 2 broken legs and 2 broken arms, that's all that would matter to me. So why can't they do it? Just why? I know they don't have the same feeling, but why? You've got to want to win. In anything you do in your life, you've got to say, well, I've got to be better than last week. I've got to be better than today. Because if you don't, you're going to fail.
GB.
Shuggy, the only defence I can really say about Tav and that, right? And his goals tally you've touched on and stuff like that, it's immense, mate. And to be fair to him, I know we're talking about leaders and stuff, but see the amount of games that we've went behind. I mean, we touched on the Hibs game, we touched on Murrow there just recently. It's Tav that's got us back into that game. It's Tav that's gave the team the kick up the backside with saying, right, come on, and wave the arms and tell them we get in the game. You're hearing in certain interviews, I mean, Todd Cantwell's interview in the game, that Tav's in Todd's ear saying, you need to get in that box with and stuff like that. I think, like Ox says, Golson's probably more vocal than Tav, but I think behind the scenes, you're seeing a guy in there that's probably driving the team. And let's be fair, mate, he drove us to 55. It's one of the hardest titles that we've probably had to get. And all I say is that it's easy to pick on the two of them because they're the focal points, I think. But I think we just need a better... We proved that when we invested in the team during that 55 season, we had better team round about it. Round about the aim, then they had probably their best seasons that we've probably seen for them. And I think what I say is there's still nobody that's came in. All the signings that we've signed, there's not one signing that's came in and took the shirt off them yet. And that, again, that might happen in the summer, but end of the day, it's still not happened. They boys have still got their shirt and they've been loyal and they've seen us through. Well, I says they're not the best, but we're showing them in a market not the best. We're just showing them in a market that we're hoping for better. And well, I says I think we need to give the captain a wee bit more credit. That's all.
I'm not saying he's not got any credit. What I'm saying is he doesn't have the passion. He doesn't. You know, it's like a wet lace. You know, oh come on, boys. You know, we wouldn't have been behind that many times if we had the right character, wouldn't we? We'd be in front. No, we've got to stop kidding ourselves.
But he's winning the game, mate.
Is that modern football, Shug? Is that modern football? Is it a generational thing?
Yeah.
No, it's not modern football because at the end of the day, if you want to win, you'll win. It's like anything. If you want to win, you'll beat the other person because at the end of the day, you'll drag them down. If you stand there and say, "Oh, well, I'll just take it," you've lost.
Can I come in on what GB said there?
Yes, on
Well,
you go, David. On you go.
regarding you're talking about with nobody there to take the jersey off them. We sold 2 fullbacks when we had to sell them for cash, and they could have took that position, no problem. So when you've got nobody there to get it, it's an easy ride.
Aye,
David, I mean, I don't.
competition for places. Aye, I get it. Well, I mean, obviously, young boy Parsons went away. He's not exactly set the header on fire. He's done okay, but he's learned his trade. Bassey's, I mean, you're talking about roughly 30 million quid. I don't think you can knock that back, Port Bear.
No, I think the strike with them was hot, mate, and I still think the same with Ryan Kent and Morelos. I think there was a time where they were at the peak of their powers, and it's only my opinion, mate. I think we should have used when they were at the top of the game, when Morelos was banging them in Europe and Kent was turning up in Europe. I think there was times where we should have cashed in, mate, and Steven Gerrard should have been given money, to reinvest and rebuild the squad. I think we came it's only my opinion, by the way, we became a bit complacent after 55. I think a lot of that squad I've thought next year that that's it, we done it. Resting my laurels.
I don't think that is the case, mate. I think if you look at it, where we were and the revenue, and we just come out of COVID, and you can't just spend money with financial fair play. So
No, I know that, but
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
I know the money
maybe
is
the
there.
mistake, maybe the mistake is no letting people go to bring people in, but that's
Aye,
all in
that's
hindsight,
yeah.
But listen, it's all about opinions. Everybody sees the game slightly different. Shuggy.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, we can't all be right. As long as we can come together as one, and eventually the players will come together as one. And you're just hoping that Bale, can see, or he's got a foresight of where he wants to go, and hopefully he can take us to that next step. I mean, I believe he can, but I'm going to make my judgment when I see the signings that he brings in. But I fear if he doesn't get rid of Tavernier, I think he's going to back a juice.
Well, been joined by Bob Chair. Evening, Bob Chair.
Hi, good evening, everyone. How you doing?
All right, mate. Yourself, what's on your mind?
Oh, I've just been watching the lassies playing there. That lot's incredulous luck never gives up, does it?
No comment.
Yeah, oh, unbelievable, man. Anyway, did you enjoy the Legends game?
Yes, GB.
Aye, Bob Jair, it was the Legends game. It was good. Like I say, it's great memories of some of the players, and again, we've touched on it earlier. It was the quality. You can still see that they've all got. I mean, at times I was in my wee chat group, probably getting a wee bit carried away with wanting to re-sign Jack Wilshere on a long-term contract because of the way he was playing that day. I mean, some of the passing and runs he was making, I was like, if we can get that guy fit for at least half an hour a game, then I would take him. But for me, Bob Jerry, what's showing through is that you just wish you could give some of the talent to, or find some of that talent out there in the current market. That's what we've been touching on tonight. We've been saying about how do we improve this squad with the market that we're shopping in, and that's going to be the big test for our manager in the summer, mate.
Well, aye, but what you must remember is, see this Premiership, I mean, we all know that's where all the major money goes, but that Premiership's full of guys that are 20, 25, 30, 35, and they've been duds. There's a lot of duds at high money prices in that league. Like they said last week, I don't know if you noticed the comment, you didn't have to buy zillions of pounds to get yourself a decent player. I think the two laddies were brought in have done all right, Raskin and Todd Cantwell. You didn't need to pay mega money. And just having an eye for a player, that, as you say, that's the market we're in, and that's what we're going to have to shop around in the foreseeable future.
Aye, so, getting the blend right, Bob. You're getting the blend,
Aye, yeah. I just have to, maybe have to rely on 2 or 3 more of the youngins coming through. So, what about Billy Gilmore? What do you think? Do you think that's a goer, or there's no chance of that happening?
I think obviously Billy's career's stalled. I mean, he's not getting in a good Brighton team. He's not getting in a good Brighton team, is he?
Well, they've done all right, Al. They've done all right. What are they in that league? 7th or 8th or something? Brighton, they've done well. With their standards, and he's just not getting a game, because we spent a lot of money on their midfield. This manager doesn't seem to rate him.
I think that's a problem when you don't sign somebody. Sometimes if a manager doesn't sign you.
Well, that happens a lot of times, mate. Yeah, goes to Chelsea, Graham Potter brings him to Brighton, and then Potter gets a Chelsea job, and obviously De Zerbi doesn't obviously fancy him. As Bob G rightly says, he's got a World Cup winner in Alexis McAllister. He's got, a regular Colombian international, Casiado, who plays, and he just cannot get a break in that team, mate. They're a right good team. They're flying high. They've had some cracking results this year against top, top 6 in the Premier League. And I have to agree with Bob here. Maybe the wee man has to take a wee step back, doing a level up year to go back forward again. And is it such a bad idea that we go and get Billy Gilmore? Because when I've seen him turning out for Scotland, mate, and the time I've seen him for Chelsea and for Brighton, there's definitely a player in there, mate. A guy that can control the midfield, and he's young, and how good would it be to see him alongside somebody like Raskin and an older head, Cantwell, etc. It'd be great to see Billy Gilmore back at the club. That's just my opinion. I agree with you, Bob G.
GB.
He could. Billy Gilmore could be the perfect signing, because he ticks a lot of boxes. We need another midfielder. We need to keep that homegrown player rule as well, especially with Europe and stuff like that. That's the only thing I think might sway the manager on re-signing Jack for a year, is that homegrown bit that we need. And McLaughlin's at the end of the season's only got a year left as well, so again he's up for debate. But whether they keep him as the backup so that you're ticking another box for the homegrown side, it is another thing. But it's got to be a challenging market, and what I say is we just need to spend the money wisely. We've not got vast amounts, but I do think we can build a squad with what the board are going to offer them, and it's just about, like I say, is going out there, and the manager needs to be strong in the conversations as well. He can't have folk turning up at his door and just putting players on him. He's got to turn around and say, no, this is who I want, and this is how we're going to be successful. And then that way, us as a fan group can judge the manager properly. Then we know that it's his team in the park, and it's been his say-so, it's been his signings.
Shuggy, and you come, what's your thoughts on Gilmore, Shuggy?
Yes, I would take him. I would take him because, like you say, he knows what the club's about. He knows I think he knows what we need, and I think the places that he's been, I think is good quality. Yes, I think it would definitely be a go for me. Yes.
Oh, Davey?
I'll tell him in a minute. He's what we need. He's a Rangers man, and that's something we're lacking at the moment. Until we get that kind of people back in the park, like him, like Ferguson, all these other Ian Ferguson and all that type of attitude people, that's what we need. Because that's when you'll need to you'll have the passion, but they would die, as Shuggy was saying. Who would not want to put that shirt on? And that's the kind of attitude that we're screaming out for. So I'd take him on a 2 toots, no problem.
2 toots. Port Byrne, you got a point?
Aye, Oxford, I remember back, all through, Rangers history, there was players of talent in Scotland, and there's 2 in particular that I felt we could have got a decent money. And I've watched him personally in Italy at the moment. The boy Josh Doig at left Hibs, at left back, and the boy Ferguson, who's at Bologna, absolutely doing really, really well in a tough league. And then there's another wee player I'm going to throw in there, mate, who'd I probably sort of do our very cheaply, sort of do our right hand side of midfield. The boy at Hibs that plays on the right hand side scored the hat trick against us in the final. We would have got him at a cheap price. And I know that might divide opinion of some of the guys on here tonight and some of the fans. But did we miss the boat with guys like Josh Doig and the boy Ferguson? Because they've went on and they've proved, that they've done really, really well in a very tough country that Mark Gately went and excelled in. And Ferguson and Josh Doig are doing well, mate.
For me, the art of scouting is to look at players and think what they'll do in your team, nobody doing in our team. Up to you?
Aye, that's exactly right. I mean, it's not everybody that can come with the Glasgow Rangers and hit the ground running, Yeah, I agree. I mean, Lewis Ferguson and the boy Doig, they've done well out there, but coming to play with the pressure of Rangers every week, pull that jersey on, we all know the score. And, aye, but they are good, decent players, and I don't know how much their worth would go up now with playing in Serie A. I don't can. No, don't need money, boys. And money that the club will not go at the moment. And we're discussing Billy Gilmore there. What's he on wages a week at Brighton? I don't know, 60 grand maybe. And we would need to do like we did with Aaron Ramsey. We would need to come to a sort of an agreement with his club for to share the wages, sort of thing. And that's what it's all doing. For to bring Ferguson and Doig back to this country, two good, decent players, but it was going to cost a lot of money, because their value shot up with the market that they're in Serie A.
Aye, and obviously they're young with contracts behind them, so they're going to cost a few quid.
Aye.
Aye. Scouting and recruitment.
We can't sign every player, Ox.
No, scouting and recruitment. It's going to improve, if I'm honest. But what we don't know, GB, is what we'll never know is they might say, well, the ones that we've signed, we've maybe looked at and have recommended three in front of them. We don't know the big picture.
No, and like I say, that's where we've got to trust the people in their positions. Big summer for certain ones. I'm not going to repeat their name because, like I say, it's been spoken enough about certain people and behind the scenes trying to find players and stuff like that. But it's just really important, like you say, Ox. It's the scouting. We've got to make sure that the boys that we're looking at are what quality. They're able to score goals, like you say. Goals is massive for this summer coming. I think where you've touched on, Ox, is that we don't need to worry too much about the defence. The defence most weeks will take care of itself. Against Celtic, we've kind of proved that we can match some of the defence we've already got. I mean, it's just basically been silly errors. But like I say, in the summer, we've got to get hungry, pacey, scoring players into that team. And again, they've got to tick the boxes, especially that homegrown thing, because if we get rid of all the players out of contract, I don't know how it'll work in Europe, but we're going to end up putting probably the youth in amongst the European team and stuff like that to tick the box, and that's not what you want going into a Champions League qualifier.
Hopefully this boy Shooter gets a run, Shuggy,
Yeah, like I said the other day there, I think we should play possibly 5 at the back, or 5-3-2 or something like that. I think if you could play a Suter and keep him fit and play him in the centre of the three, with Golston and your other centre half, I think we could go places. Like I say, I think there's options there if he can bring in the right quartet that he wants. I'm very frustrated at the minute because I don't know where he's going. I can see a picture in my head, but I mean, he'd probably look at me and say, "You're talking out the back of your teeth, like." But I don't know, and it's very frustrating because they're getting closer to us, and I don't want that.
Yeah. Davey, you better send one of the Maltesers down to Shoggy.
Well, you've had that. I've eaten a lot.
He's very frustrated, the ones with the tablets in it.
I prefer Mars bars, me, though. I prefer Mars bars, me, Davey.
My bin's overflowing with cardboard boxes, all cheese and boxes. My sugar levels went up 250%.
Oh, well, I don't even want my sugar levels to go up. That's the problem.
I went to the toilet this morning. I started peeing candy floss.
Wait, didn't he? Didn't he? Didn't he show him where the bar was on Saturday, Port Bear?
I love you see it, mate. We stuck in that corner, wasn't he? We stuck in that corner. Wee man was having a ball, wasn't you, Davey? You enjoyed your night, mate.
It was blaming. I'd said that I said to Stevie was something else. He was incredible. Every 2 minutes, oh Davey, you're right. Oh Davey. And he gave me a hat. He gave me a lovely hat, lovely hat with a Shankle Road thing on it. It was a belter. But he couldn't. Everybody was there. What we discussed earlier. I said to him, he says, "How you doing, Davey? You enjoying this?" I said, "Look, I've died and went to heaven." And I says, "It's the only heaven I would ever get to." That's a blue one. It was marvellous. Unbelievable, wasn't it? Unbelievable. I'll take that in my grave with me, along with some Maltesers.
Bob Chair, recruitment, every player's a gamble, you know, you need a bit of luck, if I'm being honest.
But bringing in players, of course you do. You need a bit of luck. I mean, it frustrates me. I'm not going to babble on a bit along the road, but every time they sign a player, they seem to hit the ground running. Every time we sign a player, they seem to get injured after 2 or 3 games.
You think that, Bob?
I know. You think it's frustration that makes you think that. I know.
Fox has got a list of the players they've signed. We've never heard of, you know, and they're still paying them and we're paying them, and they've hardly played for it, you know.
Yeah. But unfortunately, we're living in the day and age of hyper money, boys. And your days of spending hyper money on players at the time are long gone. We're just going to have to get a good scouting system in place. I know there's a lot of controversy going on the road about Wilson, and they're wanting somebody else in to identify players, but you never know. It's just like you say, Ox, it's luck. If you get a boy in and he sticks out, well, that's great. If he doesn't, well, fine. The game's littered with us. They're Tottenham signed a laddie for 50 million quid, and he's just not saying the other one player. But we're not concerned with him, we're concerned with Rangers. So get a boy in. Get us. He's saying he's going to bring in how many signings next year? Half a dozen?
5 was the number he mentioned, mate.
5, well, there you go. I mean, how much quality are we going to get? How many good ones are we going to get out of 5? You just never know. We'll have to wait and see. We just all hope it works out.
Can I ask you something, Bob Chair?
Aye, absolutely.
See, but I'm getting everything where you're coming from, and we're talking about discussing much money for this guy and much money for that guy. Do you think we really need to spend a lot of money to compete in that Scottish League to get a good team? I don't.
It's still no. Neither they are. It's still the Scottish League. I mean, the boys were discussing last week that it's a simple case of beating everybody else, which we're more than capable of doing, and then you come up against them, and it's the same for them. They come up against us, and we've got to be capable of beating them. If we do, we win honours. That's as simple as that's the way the game is in Scotland. It's just choosing the right people for to go up against them. And we've got to trust in our management, trust in our scouting system, and ultimately trust in our players. So I don't think we've got too bad a squad at the moment, but it can improve, and I think it will improve. So like the rest says, we're all just waiting on the summertime coming to see what improvements it can make.
Yes, when you go, Port.
You know, I put it down to one thing and one thing only, guys. If you remember back to when the man across the road arrived at, Castle Grayskull, if you remember back, the the players he identified, he knew every one of them because he'd either played for his team or he knew that he played in his league. He knew exactly what they would bring to his team and how they would say it. I mean, obviously, he didn't know who was going to settle in Scotland, but he knew their ability. He didn't director of football to tell him who was signing, who was doing this. He done it all by himself. Whereas we had a director of football guiding Ross Wilson, guiding Stephen Gerrard, and to an extent, the only manager we've had that's identified 2 players that got signed in January was Michael Beale. I think that's the only difference.
He is the director of football, mate. He's not a director of
Yeah, I know, but no, what I'm saying is, but over the Castle Grayskull, they didn't have that. That guy went and picked the Japanese, first team to come in and settle, and they settled obviously better than the players that we had. I just think that's where it's doing it, and add to the injuries we got. That's how I think we're in the state we're in. I don't think it's any great,
if I'm being honest,
Postecoglou's fancy football and all this carry on. I just think it's injuries plus his players' luck hit the game, in Scottish football, hit the good running, mate.
We've also got to remember, GB, that they changed the rules, altered the fixtures to accommodate one team.
Correct.
Aye.
Last season.
Aye.
At Christmas time, Obviously, they got to play them, and they got to bring players in to refresh their squad before they played us. And we were due to play them. They moved the goalposts, but because we've took the eye off the ball, and we forgot about it because we feel like doing domestically with our team's form. But since our new managers come in, let's be honest, we've dropped 2 points. We've dropped 2 points. It's some run.
That's a promising thing, Ox. As it stands right now, we've got a team that we know that will be able to compete with the rest of the league. And what I'm hoping for is with these 5 players that he's identified, these 5 players are the quality. The quality that we are looking for to get over the line in the likes of a final against Celtic, an Old Firm league match at home against Celtic. Like I says, I'll be quite. It sounds a bit defeatist, but I'd be quite happy that we go to Celtic Park and get a draw because the name of the game is collecting points in a league title run. So as long as, like I says, we're not getting defeats after him and we're taking care of our home games against them, then we already, as we stand now, we've already got a team there that is blowing away the likes of Hearts, or Hibs, and Aberdeen, and all the rest of it. So all we need to do is add these 5 quality, hopefully, players, and that will get us the other line.
All right, talking about getting over the line. We've reached that time of the evening. Last word to yourself, Bob Chair.
Aye, it's been a great discussion tonight again. I think we're all feeling the frustration of the damned international break. Wishing we were all back in here, but although we're long to Saturday. I think, as I say, we've got a decent enough squad. And that's all it is, it's just decent. We need it to be high quality. See these players you're talking about, the Postecoglou's brought in, they're good enough for here. They're not good enough for any of the major leagues. I believe that. But that's their problem. However,
Yes.
we'll need to bring in boys that are a higher quality than what they are. That's what we're searching for, basically. So
Yes.
you told that.
Cheers, mate. Shuggy?
All I can say is thanks for taking my call, and it's been a great evening, and it's been a pleasure speaking to all you bears. And onwards and upwards, and we'll keep going because we are the best, and we will get back to being number 1 again.
Cheers, mate.
We will.
Davey?
Yeah, like I said earlier, thanks again for a magnificent evening. Your kindness was unbelievable, yourself and all the bears. And as long as we keep drumming in 2 words to the players, and it's no surrender, we will come back big time. Good night, boys.
Yeah.
Port Bear?
Aye, mate, thanks very much. Well done to everybody, like I say, Stevie, Southside, yourself, GB, Jaffa, all the Rangers Radio team for getting involved with our charity do, which was an absolute rip-roll success. Billy as well. And well done to yourself, mate. Thanks very much for having us on tonight, and we are the people.
GB?
Thanks for having us on, Ox. Great debate. Great to have the boys in, giving their opinions tonight. That's what it's all about, getting the fans in and letting us know what their thoughts are. And again, thanks to Port for being the wingman tonight.
Cheers, mate. Good to hear from Shuggy, old Davey and Bob J, just Port Bear and GB for doing the show. Fox and Old School Bone for doing the technicals. This has been Rangers. We'll be Rangers Radio. We'll be back tomorrow night between 8 and 10, talking about all things Rangers. Take it away, Old School Bone.